So I'm happy to introduce Meta Moguls, an exploration of music and the future of the industry. Air Jordan, Stockz A, Adrian Swish, Mag, Rodriguez, and Hunter Orrell. Thanks, guys. Come on board. Mags has not made it. So we have everyone else ready to go.
Check, check.
Testing. We good?
I think we're good.
Hello.
How's everybody doing? All right, so this should be pretty fun. So I want you guys to introduce yourselves.
I'll go first. My name is Hunter Orrell. I work with Defiant Records on the music side, but I'm mostly known on the Web3 side for being a large venture capitalist investor. Of course, I've got Aboard Ape, that's part of it, and then I'm co-owner of Crawley Town, which is a professional football club in England.
That's tight. I go by the name of Stockz, or Invest in Stockz. I'm an artist in Web3 and in Web2. I also host a show called Meta Money on Revolt TV, and we do a lot of different things. It's hard to explain, but we're here for the buy money business.
Cool. And I'm Air Jordan. I'm in the music industry. I jumped into technology years ago, so blockchain was just a natural evolution. I have the ability to travel the world with my friends, DJing at festivals and making music and selling it to fans. So I'm also into blockchain technology with ticketing with Kid Labs, who was in Techstars in the fall too. So should be a pretty fun dialogue.
100%.
All right, so I want to start with you with Defiant, actually, because we actually work with you guys doing a Chill Pill release.
100%.
You guys have had some pretty good press coming with working with Warner Brothers and things like that. So how are you guys looking at the future of the music industry, and maybe talk about Chill Pill if the peeps don't know about it?
You know, I think we look at the music industry the same way anybody else who's learned what blockchain technology can open it up to do, which is where are the bottlenecks? Where are the frustrating parts for producers, songwriters, you know, even people that are making music that's being performed at live festivals. I mean, even right now I find myself being like, I know there's a song that's gonna be performed at Coachella that, you know, I might not receive money from. So we're looking at it from a where can we empower creators, empower people that are making music in a way that they are getting their fair share and they don't have to wait for it.
Awesome, thanks. And Stockz, so you're talking about buy money. You want to talk about what that means? I know when I'm with you, a lot of times people stop you and ask, what does it mean? And it's pretty interesting to see it. So would you mind maybe talking about buy money?
Well, buy money, other than being a record company and kind of an agency, buy money is technically just a simple breakdown of how we are trying to rewire the culture and teach people to buy money instead of buying bullshit, essentially, and basically investing in things, you know, because I come from the hip-hop culture, and, you know, what we teach each other isn't always the best things, and I would like for us to rewire and start teaching each other how to invest and invest in each other.
Cool. So what are you doing with that, with buy money? How are you teaching?
Well, with Buy Money, we did, you know, the show with Revolt. We did Meta Money, where we taught. We do things where, like in Houston, I have a studio that's also like a trading camp. So we have people that come by the studio and learn how to trade, do stock options, crypto futures, yada yada, NFTs, everything. And that's my studio, but part-time is that. And we just do a bunch of different things to onboard people and get people into the scene.
Onboarding, that's a very important word. Can you guys talk about how do we onboard all of Web 2 into Web 3? Is it possible? And is it something we should look to do?
You know, I think it is possible. The number one thing, and you know, this is, everybody's saying this, is removing friction, removing, you know, the 30 minutes to sign up and, you know, writing down seed phrases and learning, like, what's the difference between a private address and a public address. Like, it's daunting. I totally get why, you know, there's so many people in the music industry who are like, nah, I don't want to fuck with it. I think for that mass scale of adoption, you're going to have to see a big industry player say, you know what, like, we're going to adopt it. And I think that takes many different forms, but I think the ultimate form is where music, you know, an album is an NFT, where all the subset singles within that album are NFTs owned by master NFT, and each of those then connects to a splitter contract, and Spotify and Apple Music are pulling from that. And each stream is it's a verified stream that's publicly visible on the blockchain, and instantaneously through that splitter contract, royalties are being paid out. That's like the mass market appeal of like, hey, music and NFTs are like intertwined.
So that's almost jumping into like fractional royalties almost, right? How do you guys feel about fractional royalties?
I mean, like just from like
I would probably say just from an overall industry standpoint, like I know that it's like the promise of success in a sense to some people, but then at the same time, people view it as an opportunity for fans to invest in artists that they love's potential success, but just overall.
I mean, when it comes to fractional royalties, I think it depends on the artist and how you want to go about your career. I don't think we can put an industry standard on that. I think for some artists it makes a ton of sense, and it can help them give a jump start to their career and be able to reward those people for giving that jump start. But I think it's hard to blanket statement being like, hey, like every artist should give back to their fans. In some cases, it might just not make sense.
For sure.
Yeah, when it comes down to like splitting royalties, I'm a big believer in it because I've always been that way with my team, like my producers, engineer, everybody that's in the studio that does something, they get a split of the record for me. So it's like, it's a positive thing for me. It's just getting to a space where it depends on the artist. Like for me, I would do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm investing stocks.
For the record, I would also do it. Just
you know
so
what I'm saying? But like also I know for some people it's like if you don't have enough data to show that it's worth the investment, then some people might not invest. So it might throw you off. But also if it's an investment, you know what I'm saying? People are buying into these new artists to watch them build. And I think it can definitely be a quick way to jumpstart to building.
Yeah, and I think this also ties in the like idea of how do you get that mass adoption effect when going to that guy's first show and having like that physical verifiable proof that I attended it and being able to be rewarded for that down the line. Maybe it's not even royalties, but exclusive drops, exclusive merch, VIP events. That stuff is how you start to onboard people where they're like, oh shit, like this is worth something. I get stuff with it.
For sure.
Exactly. And it's like, because like recently we just did a song drop, and like I said that, I was like, I'm not putting this song on streaming platforms. This song is literally just for the people that were here to catch the moment. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you mentioned this song during that moment, then I know that you were there during that time. So when I do look back in the future, which it's planned in my mind, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I'm going to go back to those people and find a way to reward them. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's royalty split, this, that, or the third, it's something that they can get because it shows me. It's like, you were there for that moment. There's no other way you even know this other than that. And also like with onboarding, because I wanted to get into that. I feel like we're going to get to a space with onboarding where it's like mandatory, like to where it's like everybody starts adapting around. Like the people won't adapt first, the corporations will, and then it's going to become a thing where it's like you're forced to adapt, like how we were when we learned how to use iPhones and everything else. It's just a piece to where it's like everybody's going to have to get it or be really far behind at a certain point. But that's why path of least resistance is important, but it's going to get there.
I think it has to blend physical and digital, right? And then I think it has to involve fiat in some sort of way to mass adopt people. I think finding ways for people to just Apple Pay into Web3 and things like that.
You can.
Exactly.
You can on MetaMask.
Right.
And the one mental thing I'll add to that is we need to remove the idea of like this is this is an investment. And I know you're all about investing money, but like at some point these are it's a collectible, or it's a utility piece, or it is just that badge of honor to own that. Hey, you might not get anything from it, but you can prove that you were at that show or you were early.
I want to jump in on that because I think you're interesting because you can see both sides. And Stockz, with you being an artist, I think this is going to be pretty interesting. So kind of jumping back into that, how do you view DJing culture, right, in terms of like wanting everything free, wanting everything kind of handed over to them, as people say, right? And how do you balance that, what you're saying from a business perspective, to say, look, I can't just give you all utility because it's a song, right, to make you download it? Do you think there's a balance in terms of business versus, I don't know what you would even call it? Is it like fan mining? Is it?
First off, I think it's knowing your market. So if you're a traditional PFP project right now, you better be playing the current like market meta, and that's a whole nother controversial topic we can get into. But if you want those participants be happy and excited and be playing it, they're expecting a certain thing. They make the market. I think when we start talking about music, to get the current music industry excited, I think you do have to, play the what the consumers want. You can't really push them and be like, hey, you want this, buy this, or adopt this, or start using this. When it makes sense for them and they're like, oh, I'm excited, I like that, that's the path we'll take.
For sure. And how do you balance your excitement as an artist and wanting to just give to your fans with also, like, this is kind of a personal question, but how do you balance that, Stockz?
Well, with me, I look at everything in scales. So I'm like, if we're doing a song, and it just depends on what the plan is. You know what I'm saying? Because I have some songs where I'm like, we just did the Mint, where it's like, this song is a song. If you were here for the moment, you have the piece to say you were here. And then there's other things where it's like, I try to price appropriately if I plan to give or do extra things, to where it's like, okay, we could charge you this, to where I can use that money to then scale the giveaway and all the other things that we might want to give. But that's like, price justification, and not trying to like explain to the fans like, hey, you're paying $200 for this. It's more like, because I'm more like, if you pay for it, watch this. You know what I'm saying? Which might not be the best method always, but it's a thing where it's like, I feel like you can definitely find a balance to still give while you're receiving. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to. Because at the end of the day, if a happy customer is a customer that comes back.
It's a value game. You got to make sure, like, if they pay $200, like, it makes sense. Because otherwise, then you have unhappy holders.
But from an artist's perspective, if I drop a whole album and I give you this album for $200, which is not a normal album fee, but you got to think about how many hours were at that studio, how much money was put into the studio time, how much the engineer gets paid, how much the producers got paid, this, that. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole breakdown.
I know that's not a small number.
Oh, no, it's not a small number, especially when you're indie. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're like super indie, paying it out your pocket. It's a little different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, the music is worth that if it's worth that to you. And that's kind of my appeal, where I'm like, if you believe in me as an artist and that's what you want from me, then that's what you can get from me. But there will be times where we do special edition things that come with things and this and the third. But mainly, my mission here is I'm an artist.
Love it.
Cool. We almost got like 10 minutes, so I want to have some fun now. So last year, everybody cared about NFTs. This year, everybody cares about AI. What are we going to care about next year?
All right, so real
You're
quick,
futurist, I
real
can tell, bro.
real
Give it
quick,
to me.
the answer might surprise you. I think we're gonna care about NFTs, blockchain, and AI. That'll be the conversation. So background is I ran artificial intelligence for Canon globally for 3 years.
We love it. Just so we're clear, I think it's amazing.
It's about to get way crazier.
For sure.
I think this mass adoption and exponential rise in publicly available artificial intelligence technology has put a greater emphasis on the need for blockchain.
Facts.
Like,
Authenticity,
verification. I mean, it's funny, some of the news headlines and photos that you've seen the last few days, I'm sure some of you have said, like, is that real?
Right.
And the blockchain is the solution to that. It's verifying if that image is real, verifying if that audio clip is real, where's the original source. I truly think that the future of media is blockchain.
Now, do you think that virtual events will become a thing? Because I feel like it's flatline. Like, I think the idea is grandiose and amazing, but do you think that falls in line anywhere into that in terms of tech?
I think it comes back to, like, does the market want it? Like, it's cool.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I love the idea of, virtual universes. But you can't, again, build something and be like this.
Right.
They have to actually get additional value out of it, enjoy it. And I think that comes down to, like, understanding your customers, understanding the market, and understanding, like, what can you deliver that makes them want to come back again.
For sure.
I believe definitely in the future we're going to have a strong combination. Because like you're saying, like, as a music artist, when people like sample records, we got to get our records cleared and samples cleared and stuff like that. So the way I look at it is like, we're going to end up in a space where every stem of the record is on blockchain. And it's like, you can go into the Logic or whatever, and every stem is already on blockchain. So when I use it or this, or if you sample that,
100%.
it's already breaking down, because it's already hard enough for us to keep up with rights and stuff like that as is with people. So think when AI is using Kanye West's voice, and then they break down Kanye West's voice, and everybody's using it, it's a different release everywhere. How are you going to keep up with that?
Right.
You have to have the blockchain because a human cannot keep up with all that. After all the variations and everything that can be done like that, you're gonna need blockchain to keep up with it, or we're literally gonna lose touch on everything.
And then the additional layer of that is live performances using those songs.
Then we could actually be getting royalties when we we do when we play live still, but there's a way to get more direct. You know what I'm saying? And that could help us a lot.
A lot.
Think about the DJ playing your record on Serato, and it has we have ISRCs and all that, but think about him playing in Serato and we're actually getting that and all that type of stuff.
That is a crazy future to imagine, and I think it's possible, 100% possible.
So what are you guys working on personally that you might want to announce to this captivated audience of peeps that are hanging out with us today? Anything coming up? Got any alpha?
I think AI within the music industry is going to be probably one of the most industry-changing things alongside blockchain technology that we'll see in the history of music, purely because of the logistics that it does, the weight it can take off the shoulders of A&Rs, the creativity opportunity, and then we can even go down the data analytics side of it. But I do think some of the stuff that I'm watching come out of our studio, partner studios, where Beyonce doesn't have to even hear the track. Her A&R doesn't have to imagine. Right. He hears the finished song that do you like the beat? Here's what we imagine she would do on it. We're sending completed albums out that are for mainstream artists, and they just have to. Do we like it?
The expenses they're going to save is amazing. We just sent an artist to a writing camp for 2 weeks, put them up in a hotel, paying for studio time, engineers, producers to come through. And to your point, imagine if we could just put it into a system and crank it out in a couple hours and just send the options out. It saves tens of thousands of dollars for every single writer. You start thinking about it adding up over time. I think that's awesome.
It's a speed thing.
Right.
I mean,
Efficiency.
that's just the way things are moving. It's just a song can take half as long to make or get picked up, and the ability for the thing that I get most excited for, and it's hard to sometimes look away from yourself and be we have this opportunity and access to these labels. I think about the kids in college dorm rooms when their beats now, and they put Kanye's voice on it or Beyonce's voice on it, and it's oh my God, that I totally could hear that. That's a hit song.
Right. I mean, it takes me. See, I'm older. This reminds me back in the day when people would put out their acapellas and people went viral for doing the Black album, and I remember this one went viral, the Great album, where it was a certain niche. So I do love that. But to your point, as a former producer, I love the Stockz where you just went around being able to trace samples, because as somebody who has to chase down publishers and all types of things, it would be amazing if there was just a site almost like NFTs that had a list of publishers, samples, and things.
Think about Splice on blockchain.
I was about to say Splice is a great example.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay. I guess I'll open it up to you guys if there's anything. I'm just talking to my friends.
And I think, obviously we're at an NFT blockchain conference. All of that ties back into having to live on the blockchain, be a verifiable asset, understand if it's authentic. I mean, I do think there will be points where you don't know that it's AI that's on the song.
At all.
Nobody punched in.
Did you hear the Kanye one when he was singing Drake?
Yeah.
It's
Bro,
it
it
sounded
sounds
pretty
good.
good. It sounded just like Kanye actually not singing
wow.
well over it.
I mean, we just did one through our model that's Kanye on Ice Spice, and it's you would never know.
Can we hear it? Not now, but
No.
afterwards.
Yeah, you guys can hear that.
I don't hear that. That's really dope. I guess for me, Stockz and I have been talking lately because I spend a lot of time in the Web 2 space, still stuck in regular meetings, talking about playlist pitching and blogs, stuff that doesn't matter really anymore. But I think for me, one of the things I'm going to say about the future of the music industry that I want to see, it has anything to do with tech, is I actually want there to be more of a collaboration between industries. Because it's as much as we spend time at events together, talking tech and then doing music South by Southwest, right? You got Tech Week, then you have Music Week. I kind of think it should start being more intertwined, because what we find is that, from our side of things, we'll go to an event and sponsored, the drinks are free and everybody gets in, but then the air conditioning doesn't work, the DJ doesn't have a mic cord, right? And so then for us as entertainers, it always comes into, well, how are we entertaining the crowd and the fans, and how are we building loyalty if we're not taking care of the fans? Like, who wants to come to a party with no AC? Who wants to, you know, like, and I know that sounds petty, but like for me, I think it's one of those things that I've personally been noticing because we're at Rolling Loud. I can't afford to ever not have a mic work or a person not be on time for anything that has to do with entertainment. So I think for me, one of the things is I want there to be more collaboration and not more silos from like tech and music, and maybe figure out a way to more so merge these communities, because I think we'll have better events together. I think the technology will grow together. So I think for me is like, not outside looking in, but having to jump in and out of it. I think for me, that's one of the things is that I want Web3, you know, this industry to kind of catch up on the stuff that still matters, you know, like the touching the people. I think that's where we get so lost in digital, the spaces, that sometimes we forget what it's like to be around each other and put on a good event.
Yeah, and I think if you look at NFTs as a way to remove some of that like fear from people who are scared of collaborating because they don't want their stuff to get stolen or they don't want to be credited, that's truly what is going to spark that collaboration like era that's about to come for music.
For sure.
That's true for me as an artist, because like in Web 2 world, I need that check for my verse immediately. I need it all the time, but I need it immediately there, because I don't know if you're ever gonna pay me for back end, even if you give me the splits, this, that. It might not happen. When it comes to the blockchain, I've been doing more work with new artists and people because it's simple. It's like, yo, it's transparent on the site. We both gonna get paid. It's beautiful. I could tell you that you're gonna make money, I'm gonna make money, and we can go shoot the video for this next week if you wanna go half and half, whatever. But it's literally right there, and it makes it so transparent, easy. It doesn't, it's like, it cuts lawyer fees, all type of stuff. It's like, yo, we're right here. It's boom.
I mean, like, like even the music video side of this is like kind of mind-boggling, where, you know, you might pay somebody to do a music video, or you could say like, hey, you're gonna get a split from all the plays on YouTube that get, you know, generate revenue here. But that's not a transparent process at all.
At all.
That is a full trust process, and it's also one that isn't like automated or trustless in the fact where you could be waiting 6 months to get your first check from that.
For sure.
If it ever comes.
No, we're waiting 3 for sure for every song.
Oh, yeah,
for
oh,
sure.
For sure.
And then you gotta think like for me, I have splits on every record. I have over 50 songs out. No, like every record I have splits on. So it's like when that money comes in from the distributor, my accountant, my business manager, they have to literally bust down every song split, and then we have to send out every payment individually. Versus like on my last song, I did a song with a producer from South Korea, the homie Yamo, and literally I got paid, he got paid, same day. I didn't have to deal with it. I didn't even have to talk to him. It's literally.
Imagine if OpenSea operated that way for royalties.
It'd be ridiculous.
I don't think anybody would have been paid for 2022 yet.
Right.
Right? Like, it's just, there's no way to do that at scale.
For sure.
And I again, comes back to splitter contracts and verifiable, you know, assets. Blockchain solves it.
I think that's it, man. Blockchain solves it.
Blockchain solves
it. Back, man. I mean, it's been a great dialogue. I mean, I could sit here and nerd with you guys all day. For me, I just want us to win and creativity to thrive.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything you want to drop before we leave?
Yeah. Y'all can follow me at Invest in Stockz with a Z on the end. Buy Money, ENT is also another page you can follow. We have the investment dropping soon. I also mint music often on SoundXYZ and from our own site, investinstocks.xyz. And yeah, the investment coming soon. Buy Money.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me here. Great to talk to you guys.
Yeah, man,
and
this is awesome.
You know, obviously I care a lot about this, and everybody has questions. Feel free to catch me after the show.
For sure. We're partying at SNS tonight. DM me if you want to get in.
Much love, y'all.
Thank you.